That they won a lot of games.
They were like 29?
Yeah. Listen, I've known Coach Dollard, worked with Randy Bennett, Coach Bennett. He had been with Coach Romar at Pepperdine when we had played him. I'd known him for a long time. He's just he's built an incredible program. You know so much about them and Gonzaga, going head to head and watching their games, and very skilled, great passers, great open shooters, very disciplined, great team.
They lost once at home to Gonzaga, ironically. How much does that play a factor in? Have you ever known a team to really have a strong impact that making a difference in the postseason? Or
Do you say that again?
Like, does having a home element make an actual impact? And
Listen. Being at home definitely makes an impact. You know, you're on your home court, you're on your own turf. It does make an impact, and you know, going out to play there. It's a smaller place, but you know, students will be back. That's why I'm sure they wanted to play on Monday rather than Saturday or Sunday, and it will be rowdy and a great college basketball environment. I've seen it on TV. I saw one of the championship games. Actually, I've seen probably 2 or 3 of their games on television there. So it looks like a great place to play.
What is the message to the team in terms of, you know, which wouldn't be first, but in terms of like hostile environment, execution of our game, and just be there for them?
Well, I think at the end of the day, we played in some pretty, you know, tough places. Kansas being one. A big word that we've been using is just poise. You know, you're going to play against really good teams and championship programs just like Boise that we just played. You know, they're going to go on runs, even if you have a lead or not. Or, you know, you just got to, you know, play them in 4 or 5 minute segments and just, you know, be able to go out there and execute and do what we do. You know, we don't have to do anything tricky. We just got to play exceptionally hard. We got to execute our game plan, and we've got to play together. And when we do that, we're a different team, and we've proven to beat anybody. It goes back to when we don't execute or we don't make the extra pass and we don't shoot a good percentage or those types of things is when we lose. So the message is great opponent, great opportunity. Be a nationally televised game. There'll be a lot of people watching, especially with no NCAA tournament games that day, and it's a great opportunity for us.
Is there anything that you take from their game against the Cougars, or the Cougars just the Cougars and they attack them differently?
Well, they you know, they did a good job taking guys one-on-one. It wasn't necessarily, you know, they were sitting there from the three-point line. But you got to remember that was earlier in the year, and you know, teams evolve, teams get better, and you know, it also goes back to matchups. You know, how are they going to attack our zone? How are we going to be able to? What adjustments can we make? And then on the flip side, how can we score against them? So, but were some things I thought that Washington State did a great job attacking them off the bounce, forcing them to defend one-on-one, and you know, Washington State's got multiple guys that can take you off the bounce.
St. Mary's has really tapped into the Aussie pipeline. Great success with that. What's your philosophy about recruiting overseas?
New Zealand. Sammy! New Zealand. And so, listen, overseas, there's a lot of great players. A guy who I coached at Syracuse named David Patrick for 1 year. I coached him as a guard. David was one of their first hires. He was their connection to Australia for many years. Now he's at TCU, or he was at TCU and just got the job at UC Riverside. But tapped into it. It's worked for them. I mean, Dellavedova, Patty Mills. You know, the world of basketball is just growing, and they've done a great job building relationships to where, you know, they can get probably whoever they want from that area. And so, credit to him. He found a way to get it going at St. Mary's and went international, and then he mixed it in with local, and they've got one of the most skilled, best offensive efficiency teams in the country. I think they're number 1.
What do you like about Landale's game? What makes him tough to defend?
Well, he's just unbelievable in the post. When you've got a guy with that size, it's like Noah, you know, with great footwork, and he's so skilled. Not only if you double him, he just picks you apart. And when they have those great shooters around there, they can all pass, dribble, and shoot. He's just a problem. But, you know, you're talking about a guy who averages over 20 points a game. He's 20 and 10, and, you know, they've played some really high-quality programs, and they beat the Zags, and different teams scheme them differently, zone, press, whatever they, pressure. So they faced everything. And I think the biggest thing is like with Boise, they have a championship fabric. It's kind of who they are, and they know how to win. And, it would be a great opportunity for us to see our growth. As I've heard that we played them twice in exhibition games before this year, the last 2 years.
Do you think that they'll double Noah in the post like you saw this last game, or does their size sort of say they don't need
I think they have. A lot of times people, will double because they don't want to get in foul trouble, and Landale's, I'm sure they don't want him to get in foul trouble, so you can see him. But they'll probably, test the water, see how it is early, and if he's going well, or if they're defending him, they probably won't. But if he's a problem, like at Boise State, they start doing what? They started running and doubling, and it's like Boise. Boise started playing a 1-3-1. They haven't shown it all year. So teams will have different schemes to maybe show to prevent, certain things. It goes back to how we prepare. If they're doing this against our zone, this is our adjustments that we can make based on how they're attacking it.
When you look back at the game, did you notice anything different in terms of how the quarters changed compared to the halves? Is there any difference kind of just generally within the game? Did you notice?
At the end, the wider lane, they tried to miss the foul shot at the end. Obviously the different things of where they tried to strategize to use it. They went to the foul line. You can't lose the foul line game, especially against a team like St. Mary's, because they shoot so well. You don't want to give them extra points with layups or foul shots, and you got to take them off the three-point line. But we weren't able to execute our 2-for-1 that well. So little things I think that we can get better at in that case, and some things even to get extra possession where we can be a little bit creative defensively to speed them up a little bit.
Like with just the NCAA tournament you mentioned, General, and obviously yesterday and today with the upsets and everyone gets so excited about the first round. Do you notice just an uptick in general with the energy and the enthusiasm with the team and still playing in a tournament?
Yeah, it's such an honor to play. At first, I didn't know how they would respond, and I thought in our game, I thought they played exceptionally hard with a lot of energy. I felt like they fought, and I think that's that's an important thing. And these guys accomplished a lot and are still playing. Not a lot of teams are playing here in March, and to be able to play against some of these top teams and how we can get better. 99% of our team will be coming back next year, and so it's a great opportunity to keep growing and seeing where we can go. And when we talked to the team and David and Matisse, it was like, listen, if we're going to play in this, we're playing this. Let's go win it, and let's go get better. Let's have an opportunity to play some of these great teams. And Boise was a great team. St. Mary's is another great team, and we'll see where we're at.
There's only 5 teams left in the Pac-12 in postseason play. You're one of them. A, had somebody told you that before the season, how crazy would that be? And B, just what is your thoughts on the Pac-12? The perception kind of people seem to be knocking it a little bit. I
just think at the end of the day, the key in this whole thing is to get as many teams in the NCAA tournament as possible, and you got to get great seeds. There's a lot of different conferences that had 4 teams in the tournament just playing yesterday. I think 9 overall, and only one of them won and 3 of them lost, and one was a 6 seed, an 8 seed, and a 9 seed. I mean, we had 2 11 play-in games and a 4 seed, which Buffalo just had a great thing. But that's what makes March Madness. There's upsets. 2 years ago when we went to the Final Four, 3 years, Middle Tennessee State, we watched beat Michigan State, and that happens in this game. At Syracuse, we lost to Vermont, and it was a 15-2. It was one of the Richmond when I played. It was 15-2. So that's what makes the NCAA tournament so great. I think people are pretty hard on the Pac-12. I think we have a really good conference. I think it goes back to matchups, and the more teams that we can get in there at higher seeds, the better opportunity we'll have to advance. But for them to say, well, they've lost all teams. Well, we had 2 11 playing games, and a lot of those teams are playing like you get. If I was a mid-major team or in that thing, and I get to play against UCLA, I'm playing. You think both would play for a Super Bowl, but it's Villanova versus Georgetown in the finals with Patrick Ewing. You play a perfect game, you hit 15 threes, against Arizona. I mean, that's what makes this tournament great, right? So I don't think it's really. People are saying it's a knock on the conference. Obviously, we wish we had it better. but a couple of our seeds weren't great. We played, they played against a couple of really good teams, and that's what happens in March. I'm sure there'll be more upsets. Wichita State lost today,
A couple more guys.
Do you think that there'll be a lingering effect on the conference because of that?
I don't know. I think people just like to see when something's down or they don't have success. I think people like to prey on it. So at the end of the day, we know in our league, there's a lot of teams that had great recruiting classes. We got great coaches. They had great success last year in the NCAA tournament. So, just moving forward, we just got to keep getting better, trying to do the best job to get as many teams, like I said, with higher seeds. And if you can do that and you can accomplish that, you'll have a better chance. I mean, it's the odds, because we got good teams, and we got good teams that can win games in that tournament.